The British Army. To an outsider, it looks like one single fighting force. In reality, it's divided into more than 40 independent regiments, each with its own culture and traditions. And if you want to understand the British Army, these regiments are the best place to start. In this program, we meet the regiment who spearheaded the liberation of Europe in World War II.
The colonel shouted, "Get in, get in!" And that was when the lid blew off the kettle.
They're trained to jump into combat.
We class ourselves as the elite of the British Army infantry. I chose it because it was the toughest thing that you could do.
Their mascot, a Shetland pony called Pegasus.
He can be unpredictable, cheeky, tries to get his own way and do stuff which most people would expect from a paratrooper.
They pride themselves on being the Army's fittest regiment.
Remember, this is not about how hard you can punch. It's about how hard you can take a hit. What's the game for?
This is the British Army's airborne infantry, the Parachute Regiment.
A jump, that's very difficult. You're strapped with over 120 pounds worth of equipment. That's not including your parachute or your reserve, so you're looking at over 200 pounds.
The door will open, you'll all be stood there, the wind outside will be 120 knots, and you've got to step out into the unknown.
Once that door opens and you feel the blast of the air, then you know it's game on. That red light comes on, then the green light, then we're off. Every man out the door.
Before you do the jump, the nerves kind of build up, but once you're at that door and you jump out of the plane, then it's a view which you won't see in your car anyway.
Once you're in, there's no going back. It is expected that you'll be fighting initially against the odds, you're expecting to encounter the unknown. A parachute has no reverse gear.
The Parachute Regiment, 1,600 soldiers.
Can you sort your problem moves left a bit?
And 128 officers divided into 3 regular battalions.
Stand by for rapid!
And a 4th made up of Territorial Army Reserves. One para is based in Wales and works with Special Forces on secret operations. 2 and 3 para are based in Colchester. The regiment has built its reputation on rapid deployment with minimal support and equipment. They've recently returned from Afghanistan. Their motto, ready for anything. The regiment prides itself on selecting some of the Army's brightest recruits. At Catterick Garrison in Yorkshire, they must pass one of the Army's toughest selection courses. P Company, short for Pegasus. Less than half will succeed.
P Company is the crucible which forms that self-belief that failure is not an option, the firm refusal to give up ever.
Our nickname for other regiments is crap ass. It's been passed on from generation to generation. Because at the end of the day, we know we've handpicked other soldiers, reared them to be the best soldiers within the whole military, to be honest. Number 7, got a case down!
The Trainasium. A 60-foot-high aerial assault course designed to test their head for heights. It's been part of their training since the paras were formed nearly 70 years ago. In World War II, Hitler's 20,000-strong force of paratroopers were at the forefront of the Nazi invasion of Europe. Churchill was impressed. In June 1940, he ordered the creation of a British unit of 5,000 paratroopers. He hoped they would one day spearhead Europe's liberation. Major Tony Hibbert was one of the first recruits.
When we started, we were totally without discipline. Life was enormous fun, but we were an absolute flower.
For training, they were given 1,000 parachutes and 6 old Whitley bombers. The Whitleys were converted by simply cutting a hole in the floor.
You had to jump through a tunnel 6 foot deep, and if you pushed yourself a little bit too far to the front, you caught your nose on the end of the tunnel and you broke your nose. I saw one person very nearly with it cut off, and that was called ringing the bell.
The unit was named 11 Special Air Service Battalion. Commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Eric Down, set high standards.
By God, at the end of the 6 months, the battalion was absolutely unbeatable, and it was entirely discipline and fitness. And he ran them absolutely into the ground.
Okay, all arms course, listen in. Event 3 of test week, the log race. The log race simulates the movement forward of ammunition when heavy stores and ammunition are pushed off the back of a plane. Okay, we don't have to go and retrieve them as quick as we can. The race is 2 miles and needs to see maximum determination, aggression and motivation throughout. Work hard. Go, go, go! On the log race, you just need to keep going. The logs start with between 7 to 9 men, and hopefully the logs will finish with a similar number. The moment you let go of the log, you're out of that particular event, you're off the race, and you won't score any points. It's seen as a key team event. If people can't perform in a log race, can we trust them on the battlefield? Your arm wants to drop off, your body's telling you to stop. You simply have to tell your mind to shut up, keep going forward.
Only one! Keep going! And four! We there, walking! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
In February 1942, 116 men set off on the Para's first large-scale mission. A nighttime raid behind enemy lines in Bruneville on the French coast. Their objective, to capture a sophisticated new German radar. They parachuted in darkness and quickly captured it. But getting out proved more difficult. They had to fight their way down to the beach to rendezvous with the Royal Navy. By the time the boats came, 2 were dead, 6 were wounded, and 6 missing. This film was shot by the Paras after the war. It's a recreation of their first battle honor.
We were all immensely proud that they'd had this very considerable success. That really was the first real moment that we could be proud to be Paras.
The success of this mission established the Para's reputation for courage and determination. Thousands of new volunteers came forward, and in August 1942, the battalion became the Parachute Regiment.
With a
Listen in. As I pass you, you will come together, toe to toe, nose to nose, eyeball to eyeball. Do you all understand? Yes, sir!
Recruits are being psyched up for one of P Company's toughest tests. A form of boxing unique to the paras. They call it milling.
Remember, this is not about how hard you can punch. It's about how hard you can take a hit and continue to move forward. That man in front of you is the enemy. 1 minute for your life, you will stand toe to toe and engage in hand-to-hand combat. Stand by. What's the beautiful? Kill! What's the beautiful? Kill! What's the beautiful? Kill!
The recruits are instructed not to defend themselves. They win points only for the determination, courage and aggression of their attack.
In your ears, back then all arms, okay? Boxer stance, target area, okay? The face, that is where we're punching. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir! 1 minute of controlled aggression, determination.
Sit down! Get here, faster. Goes up. Move! Go on!
Milling is very much a test of individual courage, simulating the situation where someone is required to look out of an aircraft door at night and throw themselves on order into the unknown. You have to suppress your natural fears, have the confidence in your own ability, the determination and, frankly, the courage to do what's required of you.
Shirts winner!
Someone can't have their head up and look where the enemy is. They're frankly no use to us in the battlefield. So it's exactly the same in the milling room. Courage in the face of adversity and looking the enemy in the eye.
Well, for you two, draw!
If the recruits pass P Company, they'll earn the right to wear the regiment's maroon beret.
What I said we're going to do now is I'm going to teach you how to shake your berry should you be successful.
Before the final day, they learn how to shake their berets, even though some will never get the chance to wear them.
What I want you to do is just, when I say, dip the berry into the hot water, which is this side, and the cold water, then back into the hot water.
The maroon beret was introduced in November 1942 by Major General Sir Frederick Arthur Montague Browning, known as Boy. He wanted to create a special sense of regimental pride.
Now, pull the excess over to the right-hand side.
The beret's maroon colour was chosen by Browning's wife, the novelist Daphne du Maurier.
Good. And take out your cap badge.
She picked it from one of the colours he used for his racehorses.
Place it so that the centre of the cap badge is in between the centre and the left-hand corner of his left eye.
The maroon beret is everything we strive to achieve, to become part of the airborne club, as it were. It's a dream I've had for a long time now, and it's a proud thing to belong to.
In 1944, the Paras spearheaded the liberation of occupied Europe. D-Day. They were part of a newly created division, the 6th Airborne. Its name was designed to fool the Germans. Rather than 6 divisions, in fact, there were only 2. The British would drop more than 7,000 men from the skies.
The men sling their explosives and weapons around them, get into their parachutes and explain. With their equipment and camouflaged faces, look like some strange creatures from another world.
The paratroopers were to land behind enemy lines in Normandy. Their role was to attack and hold bridges and artillery positions to prevent the Germans from attacking Allied forces as they landed on the beaches.
This is Private Barovich of the 3rd Battalion Parachute Regiment, and today he's dressed in what a paratrooper would have worn during the Second World War. Round his neck he has a Ceylonese scarf. When the air resupply came in, they would actually link these together to form some kind of flag to attract the aircraft so they could drop the supplies onto you down below on the ground.
Back in World War II, there was no reserve parachute if the canopy failed to open.
Okay, requires a bit of a heave to get it to fit. Okay, obviously going into action, you had to carry his equipment. And the way we do this is, we pack all the equipment itself in the leg bag. It's fitted on the right leg, and then this system here will close around his leg. You've got hand grenades, mines, gammon bombs, extra ammunition, etc., whatever's needed for the task in hand. Weighing up sometimes up to 80 to 100 pounds of equipment in this bag. The parachutist rifle placed over the paratrooper's head. When he jumped, he would bring the weapon round and he would hold the actual weapon system close to his chest.
It's very hot, it's very uncomfortable, very tight round the waist. Not comfortable kit at all, to be honest with you.
We're now inside the fuselage of a Dakota aircraft, a very iconic aircraft used with the airborne forces throughout the Second World War and right up until the mid-50s.
How many paratroopers with all of their kit would you be able to fit onto a Dakota?
Okay, and its present configuration, it would take about 28 men all up. Normally slightly less than that, but 28 maximum.
How long would it actually take for the 28 blokes to actually get out of the plane?
I'd say about 20 seconds and less.
28 blokes fully kitted, you're going to feel pretty sick. And you know, those planes catching fire, you'd be looking out the windows, seeing other planes going down, and you've got to keep your head strong and be a paratrooper and jump out the door.
In the small hours of the 6th of June, the parachute regiment took off. 19-year-old Jock Moody was on his first mission.
Going over, once it had crossed the French coast and you get ready to stand up and hook up, you think, how did I get, what am I doing here, you know? What have I got myself into? And it's then that the sooner you can get out, the better, you know.
1 minute, 30 seconds, red light, green light, and out, get on, get out into the air over France.
One of the Para's objectives was to capture and destroy a heavily defended German gun battery near the village of Merville. The mission was meticulously planned by 29-year-old Lieutenant Colonel Terence Otway. For a month, he trained 750 men to cross a minefield and knock out the battery's guns. At 12:50 a.m., his paratroopers dropped. But they were widely scattered. Only 150 men made it to the rendezvous point. Otway ordered the mission to continue. Sergeant Len Daniels remembers the attack.
The colonel, close up to the wire, shouts, "Get in, get in!" And that was when the lid blew off the kettle. The Bosch studies started to open up. Plenty of muck flying about, trace of incendiary, mortar bombs, you name it, that was thrown at us.
It was chaos. It was fighting, it was hand to hand, you know.
Nearly half the Paras were killed or injured, but against the odds, they captured the battery and disabled the German guns.
It's unbelievable. How the hell we come to it, I should never know. It was a bit of a fright, no?
I dare say I killed one. And that's about all I can remember. Yeah, I did kill one, I know that. But it didn't, I had no regrets about that. I was doing a job I'd been trained for.
Despite the huge casualties, they took the objective. They adapted and they drove on against ridiculous odds. And I think it's that sort of inspiration of overcoming adversity in extreme ways, which to us epitomises everything about the regiment, really, and everything about airborne forces.
D-Day came at a price. Of the 7,000 men who dropped into Normandy, 1,623 were wounded, over 1,000 killed or missing.
When I come back here, I'm very, very proud. I come back and pay my respects to a lot of young men like myself who weren't lucky enough to come back.
At the Remembrance Service parades, the regiment will be represented by their mascot, Pegasus.
Shetlands, for the size, are the strongest of all horse breeds. They're sort of short, stocky, which most people would expect from a paratrooper. He can be unpredictable, he's cheeky, he tries to get his own way and do stuff, which you could also say a lot of the blokes do as well. So they quite go hand in hand, really. This is his ceremonial dress. Basically, it's got all the battle honours all over it. It's quite weighty, but this then defines him as Pegasus then when he's out on parade. When he puts his regalia on, it's as if he knows he's got a job to do then. His temperament changes a little bit. He stops being, I was going to say an arsehole, but you can't you? He then sort of tends to behave, apart from if he runs away from you, like he did last year, but 9 times out of 10 he's okay.
In the months after D-Day, the Paras continued the fight to liberate Europe. Field Marshal Montgomery came up with a plan to bring the war to an end by Christmas. 30,000 Allied troops would be deployed to capture 7 bridges behind enemy lines in Holland. This would pave the way for Allied tanks to roll into Germany. On September the 17th, 10,000 British soldiers from the 1st Airborne took off. Their mission? To take and hold a road bridge over the Rhine at Arnhem. The Paras would later reenact the events of that day in the film Theirs is the Glory, a mixture of drama and documentary. It shows how the Paras captured the north end of the bridge. They then found themselves surrounded by 2 heavily armoured German panzer divisions.
Everybody expected it to be a doddle, but those people who'd been in action before knew different. When the Germans' backs were up against the wall, they are pretty resilient. Everybody thought the Germans were on the run, but they can turn on a sixpence. And they did. People were being cut down left, right and centre. There was bodies lying all over the place. The 1st Battalion had virtually run out of ammunition. Grenades were gone. There's just no defence against a tank firing at point-blank range through the windows of a house.
The Paras had orders to hold the bridge for 48 hours until ground troops arrived. But the ground troops never reached this bridge. It has gone down in history as the legendary Bridge Too Far. The Paras managed to hold out for 3 days and 4 nights. Then their ammunition ran out, and they were overwhelmed by the Germans.
As we got smaller and smaller, we left people who must be dead and dying in the bits that we had to get out of. Yes, it was not the happiest day of my life. No, it was bad.
Of the 10,000 men who went to Arnhem, only 2,163 made it back.
The Battle of Arnhem's the typical parachute regiment ethos. It embodies everything that we hold dear. You know, the guys fought together. To the last man, they were surrounded, outnumbered, outgunned, and still at the end of the day, they managed to hold out for days.
Arnhem's extremely significant to the parachute regiment. They were jumping into the relative unknown in terms of enemy positions and where they were, and they kept taking the fight forward to the enemy with both aggression, motivation and determination, which are the 3 qualities we aspire to have today.
Could I ask you some questions now then, okay, about regimental history?
Learning regimental history is an essential part of being a modern paratrooper.
What was the operational name for Arnhem?
Market Garden, sir.
Yeah, Operation Market Garden. What was the name of the conflict in the Falklands?
Operation Corporate, sir.
Exactly. The history does motivate you when you're on tour. because we've got a reputation to live up to. The things that have gone before us, the people that have gone before us, and the things that they've accomplished against great odds, and it does really get the guys G'd up and ready to go.
Get listening. Stand down. Hey! Once you shout out your P company number, you have to shout out, sir. He'll then tell you if you've passed or failed.
In Catterick, it's the final day of P Company.
If you pass, you stay where you are. If you fail, you turn to the right, salute, and march off to the rear, where Court Minchell will wait for you there.
Number 2.
Sir!
Pass.
Sir!
Number 3.
Sir!
Pass.
Sir!
Number 40.
Sir!
Pass.
Sir!
Number 60.
Sir!
Fail.
"105 started, 59 passed."
Mr. congratulations. Okay, well done. There you go. Mr. Radcliffe, congratulations. Thank you, sir. Welcome officially to the Parachute Regiment. Thank you very much indeed. No, well done. Darren? Well done. Okay, congratulations.
When I put the beret on, it was total relief, pride. You can feel adrenaline pumping through your body. It's something that you've wanted for such a long time.
Right now, I honestly feel the best I've ever felt. It's the proudest moment of my life, having just come off the Beret Parade and received the Maroon Beret.
Now we are actually part of the Parachute Regiment, and we can wear the Maroon Beret with pride.
Up, eyes, up, eyes, up, eyes, up, eyes, up, eyes.
Since World War II, the Paras have been one of the most active regiments in the British Army. From Suez to the Falkland Islands, from Kosovo to Sierra Leone, they've been deployed in nearly every British military conflict. Merville Barracks in Colchester, the men are receiving campaign medals for their latest battle honour, Afghanistan. Here to congratulate them, the regiment's Colonel-in-Chief, His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales. The regiment's veterans are also present at the parade.
We come here to support the lads from the regiment because we've all been through what they've been through before.
You're never an ex-para. You're always a para. And when I joined the paras, it changed my life. It made me realise that I was somebody. I'd become a member of the elite, and I owe a tremendous debt of gratitude to this beret and this cap badge.
In 1950, just 10 years after they were formed, Field Marshal Montgomery celebrated the Parachute Regiment's special place in the British Army.
What manner of men are these who wear the maroon red beret?
They are firstly all volunteers and are then toughened by hard physical training.
They have jumped from the air, and by doing so have conquered fear.
They've shown themselves to be as tenacious and determined in defence as they are courageous in attack.
They are, in fact, men apart. Every man an emperor.